Welcome back. So far, we talked about the select and the where parts of SQL. And in all the queries that we have executed so far, we have been focusing on fetching data from a single table. We haven't tried to combine information from multiple tables at the same time, although you may have felt that sometimes this is necessary. To connect data from multiple tables, we need to use joins. The join operation is very commonly used within relational databases, and it is the operation that puts together data from multiple tables into the results of a single query. Let's see an example where joins are going to be desirable. Here's the query. We want to find all the genres for the films of the director Steven Spielberg, and we also want to get the corresponding probabilities that Steven Spielberg directed a movie of such a genre. And we're going to rank the most common genres for Steven Spielberg on the top. This information is directly available in the director's genres table, if you take a look at the ER diagram. Let's take a look at the table to see how it looks like. So let's go to MySQL and we type select star from director's genres. We execute and this is what we get back. We have the director ID, we have the genre, and we have the probability that this director ID directed the movie of this genre. So what we want to do now is we want to find the genres and the corresponding probabilities for Steven Spielberg. So what's the problem that we have here? Well, the problem is that we don't really know what is the director ID of Steven Spielberg. In this table, we have the primary key for the director ID, but we don't really know what is the ID that corresponds to Steven Spielberg. So how can we resolve this issue? Well, we have the knowledge that this information is stored in the directors table. So what we can do with the knowledge that we have? Well, we go to the directors table and select star from directors, where first name is equal to Steve and last name is equal to Spielberg. We execute the query, we get back a single line, and we know now that the ID for Steven Spielberg is 75380. Let's make a note. Now, having this knowledge, we go back to the director genres table and we write select star from director genres, where, now we know the director ID is equal to 75380. We execute and now we get back the genres for Steven Spielberg. You see the results, they are unordered, so let's modify this query and add an order by at the end. So order by probability descending, because we want to put the highest probabilities on top. So again, take a look at the query, select star from director genres, where director ID is 75380, order by probability descending. And here are the results for Steven Spielberg. Now you can see that 43% of his movies have the genre drama associated with them, 28% of his movies are thrillers, 28% of his movies are adventures, and so on. If you scroll down, you will see that the least common genres are Western and documentary. Okay, good. Objective achieved. We got what we wanted, but the process was really awkward. We need to first go to the directors table, find the information, and then go back to query the director genres table. Instead, what we'd like to do is to have one query and be done with that. This is what we're going to use joins for. So in our next video, we're going to see how joins work in MySQL. So until then, play around and practice. See you next time.